Yeah, so this is one of Pranesh's very recent games. He played it, in fact, just in the new year on 2nd of January uh, against Leon Levich. And what was it about this game that you liked?
Okay, as I was mentioning earlier, Pranesh, he is more of a original player. It's not very theoretical. Only in the last 6 months or so, he is working more on the opening part. So he's trying to play main lines, memorize them, understand them. Uh, so he's in that phase now. He's new to this whole process. So they played the in Sizzling Accelerated Dragon opening, and they reached this position where Pranesh has just played b3, and he played black played a6. So it's a typical Maraxibian structure with c4 and e4 pawns, and white has more space and black has less space. If we see, all the pawns are within the first 3 ranks for black, and only the queen has come to the 4th rank. So it's, black is slightly cramped. But what is good from black's viewpoint is 2 pieces have been exchanged already. So with less pieces fighting for the less space, easier to manage than if more pieces are fighting for the less space.
Correct.
So that is one. Now Pranesh, his instinct is to generally is very aggressive. He likes aggression. So it's like if he's going to play a solid opening, he's going to feel like a spring being compressed. So he'll want to like explode the first available opportunity. So he went f4. Like a normal positional player would play maybe rook c1, rook of d1, something like this. Yeah. So for him, like he wants to use the f4, rook f1 position, f4, and he played f6 to save the bishop and give a escape square. But this weakens the light squares, the move f6, and he played king h1, and this is not typical Pranesh move. Playing some prophylactic move to prevent check and all. But he's getting better, so he's learning these aspects as well, so that is a good thing. And now rook of c8. So basically black wants to go for b5 break.
Right.
C3 knight will be hanging. So again, typical move would be like rook c1 or a4, but he played knight d5, which is fine. And now black should have taken bishop d5 immediately. Bishop d5, e d5, because c d5 he gets the open file, c file in his control, like rook c3 kind of thing can come. So e d5, and now white wants to simply play rook e1, and then maybe bishop f3, rook e2, rook e1, something like that, just double.
Right.
Yeah, bg4 is an option, but we have to take care of f5 move. So if you have a good response, then it is fine. So he basically wants to play on the e file. So whenever there is a very slow, clear plan for the opponent, and we have some weaknesses like the e7 pawn is weak, it is very important we have some active counterplay very quickly before he implements his slowly improving plan. So from that sense, b5 is like more or less the only move. He has to open the position here to create counter chances. And the point is, after cb5, ab5, if we take queen b5, knight b6. So white gets 2 connected pass pawns, a pawn and b pawn, but the d5 pawn is not easy to defend, and also the black pieces are extremely active. Correct. And this gives very good compensation, and the activity will provide compensation. This is the direction he should have taken, but black played queen d8 instead of bishop d5 on move 17. This is a passive move, and this is kind of the turning point where suddenly now white has more space and an advantage. So he played a very nice move. From here, like he played very positionally, which is against this nature. So that's why I like this game. Because most youngsters, what they do, they have a clear preference. I like to play this type of chess, and then they just try to play only the type of chess. So they don't learn to play the other ways. But in Pranesh's case, he's showing that he is capable of playing very solid position. Now he played a nice move, queen e3. Taking control of all the dark squares, and also knight c5 will not come with tempo. Correct. Like when knight c5 comes, it will not come with hitting the queen. And also, like if he goes knight c5, we are ready to break with e5. So it can also help in e5 breakthrough.
Correct.
So now he played rook a b8. So the point of rook a b8, one, it is preparing b5 breakthrough, At the same time, he is taking care of knight b6 kind of fork. Like the knight has to move. Like I play e5, f e5, f e5, knight e5, knight b6 fork. So these type of things is preventing.
Correct.
Now he played a4, very nice positional move. So white has an advantage in the center and queen side. King side he can create an attack, but before that he is stopping counterplay on the queen side for the opponent, which is nice. Bishop f7, and here the drawback is weakening the h3 c8 diagonal. So probably he wants to go e6 and kick the knight away, and then maybe queen e7 will hold the d6 and f6 together. So probably that is the idea. And also like f5 will not come with tempo for white.
Correct.
Rook a d1, very nice positional move, bringing the last piece to the scene of action.
If e6, this becomes weak. Yes, now.
Yes, if e6, now d6 will be weak. And also he's getting ready for e5 breakthrough at some point. And now he played a5. Now this is a very committal move. What this move basically says is I'm not going to create any active counterplay, because the only pawn break he has is b5 breakthrough. So by playing a5, he is telling like I'm not going to open the position from my side. So if you can open the position, you do it. I will respond accordingly. So basically a waiting approach. Now generally this is not a good thing. You always should have an active counterplay when opponent has positional advantage. So this is slightly an odd decision. And here normal Pranesh I think would have gone for e5. So the point is after f5, now go bishop g4. So he doesn't have f5 now. So with the pawn on f6, he could have played f5 when we play bg4. He played bg4 directly in the game. But e5, f5, bishop g4, this is extremely strong. Okay, but he played bishop g4, which is also very understandable. And he took bishop d5. I think probably Pranesh underestimated this move.
The point is that if you take with the c file, you don't get this. And if you take here, then there is f5.
f5. Yeah, that's what happened. So he took ed5. Probably rook d5 was better, keeping the e5 breakthrough alive. And if rook c5 getting out of the pin, we can keep the rook like rook d2 or something, rook d2 or rook d3, just come back. Now we are threatening e5 ideas still.
Right.
And also bishop d7, queen d7, queen c5, all these ideas are there.
Correct.
So he took, he played bishop g4 directly, bishop d5, now he took ed5, f5, bishop f3. White is still good because if you see all the black pieces, rook b8, c8, queen d8, all 8, 8, 8, and also on the queen side, and there is no communication to the king side.
Right.
So if white can get g4, then he'll be much better. So white pieces are well placed to open. Correct. So now he played knight f6 and then rook d1. So it's increasing pressure on the e7 pawn, rook c7, and now queen d4. So he is playing very nice positionally. He understood the e6 and e7 are weak. So he wants to double the rooks on the e file. So he first brings the rook, clears the queen, and planning to double the rooks. King g8, getting out of the pin, h3. Very nice move. Clearing the back rank. That is the only weakness in white position. Also preparing g4 attack. Right. So he played h5. Now also h3 provokes this h5 move. Now the king side is further weakened. So if the position opens up, it will be like too much for black to handle. Played rook e6, king f7, rook e1. Very natural. b6. Now just keeping everything solid. And here he played king g1. Again, nice move. So this is not very typical of Pranesh, but the logic I think is when we play g4, hg4, hg4, some queen h8 check, queen h4 kind of entry could have been possible. Yeah. So he is playing this prophylactic, which is not very typical of Pranesh.
He told me yesterday that he made this move king g1 and then he just stood up and he started walking around and he was like, now you think, I will decide what to do. But it was more like a psychological thing he wanted to do.
Yeah. So very nice coming from a young player.
Right.
So they always want to do something, seem to be doing something, but taking a step back is not very easy at young age.
Correct.
But queen e3. So he's not forcing things yet. rook b b7, and now he went g4. So he could not hold it anymore. And after h g3, I like this move also, king g2. So he understood the position well. Black's rooks are totally passive. And after king g3, h4, h5, he won the game nicely.
Yeah, this was very beautiful. Do you think that he likes to play with his king a lot? Because
Yeah,
I
yeah.
saw,
Even the other game, like where he won in the
yeah,
penultimate round, like he went king f4.
correct, correct. And here he said if he took like this, he was ready to play king h4 and put his king
Yeah.
there.
No, I think like this game influenced the penultimate round also, because here it worked. So he thought like it will work everywhere.
Right, right. Yeah, this was beautiful. Like the phase where he built it up was very
Yeah.
nice. And
Yeah.
there's one more game of his that you like a
Indian.
lot, and that one is with Indian. So if we can have a look at it 1 second.
Yes, from move 12 maybe.
Yeah.
Bishop c to b5.
So this one was also a Sicilian. It was a Najdorf, and he played this and b5.
Yeah. So black is doing the typical stuff, like develop the pieces in the right squares. Bishop e6, knight d7 is what generally they do, and the a6 b5 breakthrough is quite common. Fine. The only thing is like normally the knight will be on d7, not on c5.
Right.
So here he played b4, and again we see that instinct to go for grab space, go for action. Knight d7, cb5, ab5. And here probably bishop e3 was better, but he played bishop d3. So the point is, black wants to take bishop d5, e d5, knight b6. This is his whole plan, and then put pressure on the d5 pawn. So the point is, you can play bishop e3 here, and after bishop d5, e d5, because he cannot play knight b6 directly, so he has to take. And now knight b6, you play bishop b3, not on d3. So now you can go queen d3, idea queen to b5 kind of ideas, and then rook c1, rook c6. You can use the light squares. So now he can try knight c4 before queen d3 comes and stops this knight c4 option. So bishop c4, pawn to c4. Now this looks very scary because we have the a and b pawn.
Correct.
So let us say we play a4, we can play queen d7. So this is the whole point. Now we are not able to find a good square for the queen, at the same time protecting the a4 pawn.
And also,
So we have to
queen
play
c
like,
to d5.
yeah, so now he's basically going to play queen b7. So we can play like b5. Now the point is, if queen b7 directly, we have knight f5. So if knight d5, queen d5 is coming.
Right.
So first he can play rook of c8.
And if here this continues like this pawn.
Now I can take and play bishop g5. So once I safeguard my d5 pawn, then the two connected pawns will be dangerous. So he can first play rook of c8. Now the threat is queen b7, knight f5, bishop f8.
Right.
So clearing the f8 square for the bishop. So here you have to play accurately queen f3. So the point is, now if queen b7, we can just play b6. Idea a5, a6.
And
So
if,
this pawns,
if he takes here.
if knight d5 also, just a5.
Okay.
Idea a6.
Nice.
So this is quite a big mess for black. So bishop e3 was probably better, but he played bishop d3, which is fine. And now he should have taken bishop d5, e d5, rook b8.
Right.
This was preferable, but he played knight b6, which is a mistake. And now he took the right decision. He took knight e7. So this is slightly difficult because
it's a bad bishop.
It's not, it's a bad bishop. You don't want to do that in general, but he took this decision. Queen e7, bishop b5. And so he's simply having two bishops and the connected pass pawn and an extra pawn. So it's clearly better. Why I like this is, one, like this is the time like when he's beginning to beat good players. So he's getting good at it. So that is one reason. This is like kind of initiating that process. Is confidently beating stronger players, and the other is becoming a theoretical player. So from someone who can play any stuff he wants, he is now turning to learn main lines and playing it against good players and doing it successfully. So in that evolution process, I like how he handled this opening, because it's a structure. If you don't know well, it can go wrong very quickly.
Correct.
Yeah. So after that, he played d5, and now he reacted well, a4. So this is typical
This,
Pranesh.
this is
Yeah.
like an unconventional solution, right?
Yes.
And he always can find that.
Yeah. So it's not very typical. Like first instinct will be like ed5 and then play a3, something like that.
Correct.
But he's again going for. So the queen b4 means bishop a3 we have.
Bishop a3. Correct.
Yeah. So he took 94, 94 d4. Now it is equal pawns, but the two pawns are too dangerous. So now he played bishop e3, knight d5, bishop c5, and he won the game.
Wow. Very nice.
Yeah.
So very representative of what you said. Creative, but also evolving as a player, having many different strategies now. So this is very cool to see.
Yeah.